In our today's class, now we'll talk about the study skills, how to be a good student, how to get marks, how to study properly, how to read, how to prepare for tests, how to listen. You will be surprised by the end of this lecture that there is a proper science behind how to be a good student. And generally, this science is never emphasized. Before we could start our discussion, we'll wait for the other section also. I have a question for you kids. What are the harmful impacts of social media? Think about it and write down at least 5 dangers of social media. You kids are in ninth class, so your average age must be around 15. Yes. So in Australia, till 16, they have banned social media. And the governments are resorting to such measures across the world. So write down 5 major, most severe dangers or threats of social media to the young generation. All right, Ji, let's start our discussion. So what you see on the screen, that Rome wasn't built in a day. What does it mean? The social media is doing opposite to it. Social media is glorifying the output. But what needs to be glorified is the process. When you kids watch social media, let's say you open Instagram, what do you see on Instagram? What do you see on Snapchat? The best moments of the lives of people. And when someone is watching the so-called stars of today's generation, let's say someone is very big, a big name on social media, has millions of followers, what that social media is showing you is what that person is today. The social media is not showing you the process of how he became where he stands today. Yes or no? Your exams are approaching. In these exams, the score that you will get will not be decided or what you did on the exam day. It will be decided by how you lived the entire year as a student. Process is always more important than the output. If you do the process right, the output or the result will always fall in its place. Have you heard the word procrastination? Have you heard this word procrastination? Procrastination is like delaying work. When we delay work, when we know work is important, but we delay it. For example, when the exams were delayed to 8th January, how many of you continue to put the same kind of efforts till 8th January that you were putting maybe on 31st and 1st? How many of you were able to do it? Few hands are rising. It means majority, we don't do it. This is called procrastination. When we know something is important, but we don't do it because we think we'll do it later. People on social media, they appear so big to the youngsters that they think I'll never be able to be as good as they are. And this hurts the self-esteem. And once you are low on self-esteem, you procrastinate things. When you see something unachievable, there is a part in the brain that becomes insecure. It's called amygdala. If you see this small yellow dot, it's called amygdala. It is the fear center in the brain. All your anxieties, all your fears, they are run by this part of the brain, amygdala. And this ensures our survival. This is not a bad part. This ensures our survival. When you are going out in the public, when you don't know those people, all of a sudden you have this gut feeling where you feel I should not mingle with this person, I should not mingle with that person, I need to protect myself. All of this is coming from where? This is coming from you as a life trying to survive, wanting to survive. And this is because the amygdala is kicking in. Whenever there is any kind of insecurity, amygdala kicks in. It puts you in fight, flight, or freeze situation. Now, what is this fight, flight, or freeze situation? Let's say someone comes to you, all of a sudden you are not prepared for it, and they start shouting at you. There will be 3 main reactions. Why? Because you don't know what's going on in front of you. It's uncertainty. Whenever there's uncertainty, you're not clear about what's about to happen, this amygdala kicks in. Because its main task, God has put this in our brain, is to protect us. It kicks in. Whenever it kicks in, there are 3 kinds of emotions that you will face. One will be flight. Okay, chalo, let me run from this situation. Let me avoid the people that I feel insecure around. Second is what? Fight. Let me fight. So when people are fighting, they are not brave. Like the way songs say कि people are brave, they are fighting. If you are brave, if you are secure, you don't have to fight. The people who are loud, the people who shout a lot. Someone is walking in the corridor, a student, other student came and shrugged off the shoulder. And all of a sudden, the ones who got shrugged off with the shoulder, it may have been an accident, will all of a sudden get into rage. Why? Insecurity kicks in. I don't know what will happen to me again if he does it again. If he does it again. So the people who are secure, they will be like, with a smile, it's okay. You can pass, it's okay. Because they have nothing to fear. The people who are insecure, they would want to fight back because they will think, how will others treat me? How will others think of me? Why? Because someone just came and did it boldly in front of everyone around me. How will others treat me? When the teacher scolds, if you feel the teacher is scolding you and it's unjustified, it's not justified, or the teacher has started scolding you right in front of your entire class, you may have noticed some students, they start to get into clash with the teacher. Like they resist, they stand up and they may start speaking up against the teacher in front of everyone. Why? That is not out of security. They are not brave, they are insecure. Why? What will others think of me? So this part of the brain, amygdala, this is where all the anxieties, all the fears live. This is the fear center of the brain. And whenever it kicks in, we start to fight, we start to argue, we start to resist. Or the third situation can be freeze. Like we go blank. I don't know what is happening to me. I don't know what will happen to me. That is going blank. So there are three kinds of reactions which come up. Now, when you are watching social media, when you are looking up to those big stars, what you are not seeing there is the process how they became big. What you are seeing there is today someone who is very big. But if you follow the process rightly, you will be as big after a certain time. So the basic general rule, some of the rules which are written in the books or which people, those who have experienced it over time, they tell you is like it takes almost 10,000 hours to be good at something. At least 10,000 hours, which means almost 5 years. If you keep doing something, you get good at it. But there is one catch here. The catch is you need to be doing it with right science. You kids are right now in ninth class, and you kids may have been coming to school from past maybe 12 years. Yes or no? In past 12 years, if I ask you to write an essay right now, giving you a situation, many of you will not be able to do justice with writing an essay. If I ask you to write an application, giving you all of a sudden a situation that you may not have imagined, many of you will startle to write an application correctly in the right format. Many of you right now sitting here, why does it happen? Doing something for past 13 years and we haven't got good at it. We haven't mastered it yet. The only thing that you can do the best on this planet right now is you can read good, you can listen well, you can write well, but if you are struggling even there, now imagine where do you stand when it comes to the global competition. Just imagine a farmer who had been doing farming from past 13 years does not know how to do the farming. Imagine where does that farmer stand. A singer who has been singing from past 13 years does not know how to sing properly. Imagine where does that singer stand. That singer will never become Diljit Dosanjh. This is the language that you kids understand. That's the reason I'm quoting these names. Someone who is playing football does not know how to play football correctly will never become Messi, will never become Ronaldo. Someone who has got involved into acting but does not know the science of acting will never become Amitabh Bachchan, will never become, let's say, the big names that we have in the Bollywood industry or in the Hollywood industry. So those people posting their pictures today, they don't show you the process how they reached there, because process is always hidden. What is glorified is the output. Every year, like this year when the board class exams will be conducted, by the end of this year, there will be names of some students, those who will top the country, those who will top the district, those who will top the state. Their names will be glorified all in the newspapers. Like one student from our school last year, she topped the entire district in humanities. She got 98.9%, 6% marks. She topped the entire district. So her picture gets glorified. What does not get glorified is what she was doing throughout the year. Because when I was looking at her, I had predicted it. I had predicted it. I had told her in the month of December only that you are going to be a district topper. And she looked at me. She was preparing for CLAT paper. That is the exam that you need to pass to get admission into good law university. She was preparing for it. She had not cracked it yet. and she was finding very uncomfortable. Why? Because she was not getting good score when she was writing those papers online. She had joined some test series. She was not very confident. I told her, you are going to crack CLAT, before she did. Why? Because as a teacher, I was witness to the process that was leading her to where she was going. Process is what matters. You coming to school, what you do in school, how you approach your books, how you approach your notebooks at home, how you approach your notes at home, how do you listen to teacher, that is the process of, that is going to make you one day an officer, is going to make you one day a judge. That is the process that matters. That is one day going to make you a software engineer. That is what is going to make you one day a doctor. So process is the most important thing, but process is never glorified. This is the biggest danger of social media. It never glorifies the process. All it glorifies is the outcome. And the problem with glorifying the outcome is what? Young students like you, they get nervous. They become insecure about their futures. Future, you don't have to worry about your future if you are living your present well. If you are doing the things, right things today, you will have a wonderful future. Making sense? Making sense? So today we'll be discussing the science, the process of being a student. I hope you have understood what the main rationale, what the main reason behind our today's discussion is. Have you understood it? Yes. All right. So now if you see the very first point, that we procrastinate. Have you noticed that we all procrastinate? Most of you may be procrastinating. Teacher gave some work, let's say today. The work is now to, because your exams are going on, you may be under the false impression that I'm a very good student. Why? Because I'm studying. Now to you are studying because your exams are going on. What you had been doing throughout the year is what makes us a good student, or is what makes us an average student, or is what makes us a below average student. So do not fall under the false impression. Try to see the larger picture of how you spent your entire year. Like when we talk about year, out of 365 days, how many days do you kids come to school? You know that it's only 210 days you kids come to school. Just 210 days. That means what? 155 days are totally under your control. Totally under your control. And learning, one thing you need to keep in mind, one rule of studying you need to keep in mind, it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. If you want to be a good student, you need to treat studying, being a student, as a full-time job. That means for 155 days, your average learning hours should have been somewhere around 6 to 8 hours every single day. That is what makes brilliant students. That is what makes toppers. That is what makes IAS, IPS officers. That is what makes judges. That is what makes top class doctors. That is what makes quality businessmen. Are you getting it? What we do with our time, we all have got limited time. What we do with our time. But what we do with our time is decided by what? How motivated we are to do it. Yes or no? How motivated we are to do it. Let's say today I took a class with you people, or today you watch some YouTube video, some motivational video. Today you will be like infused with external motivation, as if someone has injected you with motivation. Today you will feel motivated. You will go back home, you will try to do things right. But in 1 or 2 days, you become the same you. There are chances you will fall back to the same tendencies that you have as a normal student. So now the question arises, why do we do it? Why do we procrastinate? Why don't we act like good students? Why don't we act like perfect students? Because the only thing, like the only sure short way to change your life, to change your entire generation, your entire family, the only sure short way is education. Only one guaranteed way, that is education. There is no other guaranteed way. Making sense? So the word comes is motivation. So that means there are two types of motivations that we are talking about here. The one type of motivation is external motivation. When someone appreciates, we like to do things. When we are getting a prize, when we are being paid for something, we like to do things. And the second one is internal motivation. Internal motivation is what makes those big people big. Any person who is talked about by the people around you, who is glorified by the world of social media, be it by the world of media, be it any person who has ever achieved something, was always internally motivated. They were not driven by external motivation. If you watch the interviews of Shah Rukh Khan, you will see him saying, I don't make movies for money. I started to make movies for money because I came from a very poor family. But once I was into it, I was doing it purely for fun. I'm doing it because when I'm acting, I become acting. If you ask Virat Kohli, why do you play? He'll tell you, I don't play for money. I play because when I hold the bat, I become cricket. I love doing it. So all the people who are big, if you'll ask a businessman, why are you a businessman? They will tell you, I'm not doing it for money. Money is here, external motivation. So money is a reward which comes along when you keep getting good at things that you're doing. We don't do things for money. If you will do things for money, you will always keep looking out for reward and you will never be able to make enough money. If you will do things for internal satisfaction, you will make hell lot of money. Money will be running after you. You will not have to run after money. Money will run after you. Why? Because you are good at doing what you do. And you are adding quality, you are adding value to the lives of people around you. And people will be running after you. Even if you'll sit in a jungle, people will come to jungle to give you money, to provide, add value to their lives. This is how people make money. For money to enter into your pockets, money has to leave someone else's pocket. And the only way it will leave their pocket for you is when you add some value in their lives. Otherwise, they won't put the money out of their pockets into your pocket. Be it entertainment, be it anything. When people are able to add value to the lives of others, people make money. So now the first question is, how do I become a student that is so internally motivated that I can achieve anything that I want in life? How to be there? How to be that kind of student? For that, we need to understand what drives motivation in people. There are three things. Now, what I'm noticing so far is the very first lack of quality of you being good students. That is what, like all of you are listening to me. Like none of you is writing anything. Right now, your senses are engaged, you are listening. This is sensory memory. You think you remember everything. You think you understand everything that sir has shared with us. But as soon as you will leave the hall, within 20 minutes, 60% of it will be gone. Now, can you remember the second sentence that I said when I started talking to you kids? It's been only 10 minutes into our discussion. Can you remember the second sentence that I shared with you? No, na? No, na? No. Let's do a small experiment on it. What I'll do, I'll be sharing one sentence with you. I'll be speaking out one sentence with you. Listen to that sentence word by word. I'll read it only once. Consider it like a game. I'll read that sentence only once. You will have to pay attention to that sentence and you will have to write that sentence on your notebooks. And then we will check. Then we will check. Were you able to get that sentence word by word right? Or did you still faltered? Because this is how the memory works. Listening or hearing is not equal to learning. Is not equal to learning. Should we do that experiment? All right. Let's play a small game. So there are 5 sentences in total. Every sentence get difficult from first second. Second sentence will be bit difficult. First sentence easy. Second sentence slightly difficult. Third sentence slightly more difficult. Why? Because I'll be increasing the number of words which are there in every sentence. So when I'll read that sentence out to you, you will not write anything. So there are basic rules to this game, this basic survey. And these are not my drafted sentences. These are sentences which have been drafted by the experts to explain it to us, how the sensory memory works, how the brain works. Fine, everyone? So first I'll read the sentence, you'll pay attention, you listen to it, but you will not write anything. Once I'll finish that sentence, then you will start to write that sentence. Fine? All right. So here comes the first sentence. Pay attention to it. Everyone at the game wore a red shirt. Danji? Right. So now pay attention for the second sentence. No one will write till I complete the sentence. Second sentence is, the power went out due to a big storm last Monday morning. Kanji, here comes the third sentence. Pay attention. He usually eats two soft tacos and a burrito whenever he goes to Taco Bell. Ranji? Right. So here comes the fourth sentence. First listen to it, then write. Don't write as I'll speak. The four children spent the whole afternoon playing on the swings and the slides at the local park. Mannat. Ranji, fourth sentence. Right. So here comes the fifth sentence, a slightly long one. So pay attention. After running 4 miles on a beach, the young woman walked another mile in order to cool down and then went home. Now check your sentences from the screen. It should be word by word right. Even if one A is missing, it's wrong. Even if one D is missing, it's wrong. So the first sentence is check it word by word. I'll read it out once more for you guys. Everyone at the game wore a red shirt. Now sentence number 2. The power went out due to a big storm last Monday morning. Now the sentence number 3. He usually eats two soft tacos and a burrito whenever he goes to Taco Bell. The fourth sentence is the four children spent the whole afternoon playing on the swings and the slides at the local park. The fifth sentence is after running 4 miles on a beach, the young woman walked another mile in order to cool down and then went home. How many of you have got 4 right? No one, na? So far, how many of you have got 3 right? 4 right. Word to word. Are you sure? Come in, come in. All right, we have got one child who has got 4 right. How many of you have got 5 right? Most likely no one, na? How many of you have got 3 right? No. Are you noticing how the brain works? Are you noticing how the brain works? Was it very complex English that I was reading out to you kids? Simple English, na? And did we spend like more than 30 seconds of waiting for you to write the sentence? No. Sensory memory is when what you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are feeling is what you can recall. That is sensory memory. And the duration of sensory memory is only 30 seconds. That means what? That means what you are hearing right now, after 30 seconds, you will not remember it. You will not remember it. This is how the brain works. You cannot beat the biology of the brain. There is no way to beat the biology of the brain. For your brain to keep things, retain things for long, it should do things, you as a student should do things in a right way. And the right way is what? When the teachers are explaining something in the class, always keep taking notes. Always keep taking notes. And how to take notes? Should you write everything that the teacher is saying? No. Then we will not be able to pay attention to the main idea that the teacher is explaining. Every 1 minute, try to write 3 to 5 words, not more than that. So if it's a 40-minute class, multiply 40 by 3. How many words does it make? 120. That means in a 40-minute period, we have to write at least 120 words. Why? Because when the teacher will leave your class, the first duty that you have to do is read those 120 words. Why? What will happen then? Just doing it once, just pay attention. Let's say your teacher left the class and you have written notes, and these notes are, let's say, 120 words. Just going through these words once, it increases your retention rate by almost 40%. Just doing it once, just 5 minutes of it. That means if you do it after the class, when you reach back home, you will remember at least 40% more than the ones who attended the same class. They were sitting in the same class. They were listening to the same teacher. But all they did not do was they did not take notes and they did not go through those notes. So as soon as the teacher leaves, what do we do? Generally, most of the students, what do they do? When the teacher leaves the class, they start to talk. We start talking with our friends. Now, what does the brain think of it? Brain thinks something that was taught by the teacher is not very important. Why? What I have to talk with my friends, that is more important. So that is given preference by the brain, and something that was taught to you by the teacher for almost 40 minutes, that is given second preference. That is put to the side. Why? Because brain cannot record all the words as it is. This is the make of the brain. Otherwise, so we'll get jammed like a mobile processor. Have you seen the mobile phones when we try to play the game on the mobile phone? And at the same time, if you try to do the video editing on the mobile phone, the phone starts to heat up. Why? Because the brain of the phone, that is the processor of the phone, it is being run to work at its maximum capacity. And it starts to generate heat. Now, every day, like right now, sitting here, before coming here in this class, you kids woke up in the morning, you may have talked with your parents on your way to school, you may have talked with your friends, you may have seen the phones also, some of you. Then in this school you wrote a paper, then you may have talked with your friends. If your brain was recording everything that you were doing, you would have been jammed in the classes and your brain would have collapsed. So God gave us one superpower, and that superpower is the power of forgetting things. That's a superpower. Why? Because God wanted us to live a certain life. Superpower is what? There is some angel that is standing on the top of our head, and when we are trying to listen to things, when we are hearing things, when we are watching things on the social media or on the internet, whatever we are doing, all those videos you are watching, there is an angel that is standing there and he is wiping the giant eraser on your heads so that you can forget everything. Why? Because God created you in such a way that remember only what you want to remember. Do not remember the crap. Brain treats everything as crap until and unless we don't follow the right way to learn. Now, if you do the first reading within the class, right within those 5 minutes, but for that, you should have taken the notes. As soon as the teacher leaves, if you give a quick reading of it, when you will go back home, you will remember more. This is how it works. So the first learning, the first revision should happen right after the class. But before we could discuss all of it, you need motivation. Yes or no? Like these things would not make sense. You will listen to him, you will listen to me, okay, fine, acha, this is how it works. And then again you will not follow. Why? Because you need motivation to do things right. You need motivation to stick to a certain scheme of doing things. Without motivation, you'll not be able to do it. So how do we get motivated? How do we get internal motivation? Let's go back to the topic, then we'll come back on how the brain works. I hope you may have got some idea that when we are discussing things, you have to keep taking notes side by side. Making sense? Making sense? So whenever I'm saying things, just write one word for one sentence, write two words for one sentence, so that when you go back home, you can read what sir shared with you. So the first reading should come right after the class. Otherwise, when you'll go back home, by that time you would have forgotten a lot of things. First reading should be like when you go back to your class. On your way back to your class, just open your notebook, keep taking reading of those things. Once one reading is done, then go back home. Then go back home, open all that has been shared with you. That is like short notes you will be having. Now try to add more words and frame sentences around those words. That will be your second notes. Making sense? And the third notes will be what? Do once research on the internet. You will find many more things related to it. Read it once, then make the third and the final notes. And now rely only on your notes. Now, day after tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, teach this to your friends. Discuss it with your parents. When you are discussing it with your parents, when you are discussing it with your friends, you are telling your brain, "Ki brain, I need what I just put into you." When we ask the brain for information, that is when the learning happens. Listening is not learning. You may have listened to the best quality lectures, even if the God comes and stands here and teach you people. That will not change your lives. God's words will be forgotten the same way as any other teacher's words will be forgotten. Why? Because this is how the brain works. You cannot beat the biology of our system. We cannot beat the biology. This is how the brain works. There's no other way brain works. Are you getting it? Is it making sense? Yes? So now imagine some student, like this is what the perfect student that I'm telling you, the one who topped the district, what she used to do. After the class, you took a reading, then you go back home, then you took a reading, and then you added some words, you opened a book. This is how it goes in the normal classes. We have SST class, we have maths class, and we have maths book also. So you go back home, you looked into your notes, you looked at your book, and you tried to make sense of it. And then you did it again after 3 days, then you did it again after 7 days. Now imagine some student who came to the school, sat with you for entire day, went back home, did not take up his bag, or went to the tuitions where he is relying on a tuition teacher. So now what the tuition teacher will do? She will again talk. And the student will again sit there, listen. Student will come back and will say, I am very tired, mama, will throw the bag and will not do the self-study. Why? Because entire day I was studying. The child is mistaken that he is learning. He is not learning. She is not learning. They are only getting familiar with the information. Learning is when we try to take that information out. But we get mistaken. We think because I am understanding things, now I know how things work. But you will forget. Why? Because you are driven by pattern of habits. And habits cannot be changed by one lecture. You will have to again reprogram yourself. And that happens over time. Habits are not formed in a day. Habits are formed over time. Until and unless you will not sit and do self-study, learning will not happen. Now imagine someone who has not studied till the exams. When they will study during the exams, the brain will be treating that information that is being uploaded into the brain forcefully. कि अभी याद कर, learn this also, अभी याद कर. Why? Because tomorrow is the paper. You will fail. You will not get good marks. Parents will scold you. That child is forcefully loading the information onto the brain, and this brain will forget everything in another 2-3 days. And the student, despite studying, despite learning, student will not get 70, 80, 90% marks, not get 90%, 95, 98% marks. They will get 70% marks. And the parents are thinking, my child is learning. You as a student are thinking, I'm learning. But all that you have forced to pass the exam will be forgotten when you will get into next class. And next class teachers will teach you. Why? Because they will think the entire science is connected. Next year, science teachers in 10th class, they will not be teaching you 9th class science. But to understand 10th class science, you need science from class 9th, you need science from class 8th, you need science from class 7th, you need science from class 6th. But because you were cramming it only during the exam days, you were forgetting it all over when the exams were gone. So now 10th class will not make sense to you. So you think as a student, I am going to school, I am learning, and when I'll pass out from the school, then I'll go to college, then I'll go take up a job, I'll start my business, and this is how life. This is not how life works. This is not how life works. Until and unless you don't have the skills, why will any company hire you for? What will they hire you for? They will not hire you for certificates. Every year, so many people are going to college. So many people are going to college. Not everyone is getting into Microsoft. They will hire you only when they see you can make at least 10 lakh rupees or 50 lakh rupees per month for them. Then they'll give you a fraction of that as salary to you. Otherwise, why would anyone hire you? This is what happens to most of the students. They pass out from the school. They have no idea which college to get admission into. They'll get into any college. The people from our country in Punjab, they don't study. Why? Because they think after 12, I'll go to Canada. When they go to Canada, they have no idea which college they have to get admission into. They don't know anything about the scholarships. So they are just getting there. They are paying lakhs of rupees simply to get there. And when they do complete that degree, they by that time they have spent almost 35 to 40 lakh rupees. And after spending 40 lakh rupees, no company hires them. Then they do what? Then they wipe the floors. They mop the floors. They sell the pizza the rest of their lives. They drive trucks the rest of their lives. Someone who does not have this, वो truck चलावे make sense. Someone who has this, someone who has spent so much time into learning is driving a truck does not make sense. That's a waste of life. That's a waste of career. And even after driving trucks, people are not able to make more than meeting their basic needs. So you ran from India. You basically were not running, going abroad for education. You were running from yourself कि मैं नलायक हाँ मेरे इत्थे कुछ बनना नहीं भज लिए किथे जाइए अमेरिका जाइए कनाडा जाइए and there you ended up being a laborer. Where will you run from there? Every year when the budget is passed in US, people come on the streets demanding higher basic wages. Basic wage means what? रोज ਦੀ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦਾ ਖਰਚ basic minimum wage ਵਧਾ ਦਿਓ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਡਾਲਰਸ ਮਿਲਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ. Make it $17 per hour. Make it $18 per hour. Had those countries been dream countries, then to everyone would have been making millions of dollars there. But this is not how the life works. This makes money. The man who is standing in front of you, if I'll use my these hands, if I'll use my body, that is the least amount of money I can make in my life. ਜੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਮਾਇਆ ਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਮਾਉਨੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਮਾਉਨੇ ਆ there is no limit to how much money you can make. Making sense? Making sense? So that means there is right way of doing things and there is wrong way of doing things. Now when you study right during the exam times, study appears like a punishment. क्यों? You are forcing information. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਾਸ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਆਈ ਐਮ ਇਨ 9th ਕਲਾਸ ਅਗਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ 10th ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ. But this will give you only papers. 9th class ਦਾ ਸਰਟੀਫਿਕੇਟ ਪਾਸ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਵੀ ਗਿਆ. If you don't know how to speak, if you don't know how to write, what will you do with these papers? What are these help of? How do they help you? Making sense? Making sense? So what do we need? We need internal motivation. Because when you are internally motivated, let's say you want to be a doctor. Now, why do you want to be a doctor? Because you want to treat people around you, you want to help the society. That's why you want to be a doctor. That means you are internally motivated. Now, when the science teacher will come in your class, you will be all ears to the science teacher. Why? Because you understand I need science. Otherwise, you don't understand I need science. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ ਪਤਾ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠਣ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ. ਚਾਹੇ ਬੈਠੋ ਚਾਹੇ ਘਰ ਬੈਠ ਜਾਓ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਇਟਸ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਥਿੰਗ. ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਦਾ ਇਟਸ ਨੋ ਯੂਸ. ਆ ਕੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਆਏ ਦਿਨ ਪਾਸ ਕੀਤੇ 365 you think I am going to pass 9th class. Out of this entire 365 days of 9th class, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਆਈ 200 ਦੇਣਾ. ਆਪਾਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਵਕੂਫ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਤਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ 1 ਸਾਲ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਿਆ. 1 ਸਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. We came to school only for 200 days. 165 days ਤੋਂ we didn't came to school. ਇੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਦਿਨ ਹੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨੇ. Earlier it used to be 230 to 240 days. ਹੁਣ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ governments are so good, they want you to stay home, stay cozy. Are you guys making sense? ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਵਕੂਫ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ. This is the biggest danger of social media. It is glorifying the what? It is glorifying the result, the output. It is not glorifying the process. And you kids are getting hooked onto the output. You kids are not understanding how the process works. So, for you to stay motivated, what do we need? For this, we need to understand there are three factors that we need to have. Number one is autonomy. Autonomy means what? I am in the school because I want to be in the school. That is autonomy. Choice, freedom. I am sitting here. You kids are not sitting here because you want to be here. You came in the school and I asked Karandeep sir with ninth E and ninth D and ninth E. I haven't taken any lecture so far throughout the entire year. So I asked him to send you kids, assemble you kids here in the hall. You are not sitting here by autonomy. You are not sitting here by choice. After this lecture, what you do with the information that is being shared with you, that is choice. There you are fully autonomous. Whether you want to implement these things in your life or whether you want to go out and just forget everything. Let the giant razor of God wipe clean your head. If you want to let that happen, then that means you are not living life by autonomy. You are not making choices. Life is making choices with you. And you are a victim of life. The victim kade kamyab nahi hunde. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? The first factor to remain motivated is autonomy. When Virat Kohli was playing cricket, he was not given bat by his father and asked, go and play cricket. He was playing because he wanted to play cricket. When Cristiano Ronaldo was playing football, his father could not even give him food. That man was playing football every single day on the streets, 8 to 10 hours a day. And how was he living? He was living off a waste burger. There was a McDonald's closer to his home, on closer to his street where he used to play. And there used to be two girls who used to serve food at that McDonald's. And those two girls, they used to put one burger in the waste and they used to hide it and give it to him in the night. Why? Because they were so sympathetic with him. A very young boy, which our entire days playing football, has nothing to eat. He was playing not because someone was telling him, go and play. All the officers that you see, the entire officer machinery that you see, they are the most power yielding machinery in our country. They are not told by someone, chal, by IPS one. No one can make you an IPS officer. No one can make you a doctor. No one can make you a military officer. You have to do it. And this is where the autonomy comes. I am going to school because I want to learn. That is autonomy. The first factor is clear? Autonomy. Yes? Second factor is competence. Competence. Write it down. First factor is autonomy. Second factor is competence. Competence means what? Competent means, just see this, just see this graph. Whenever anything is very difficult, whenever you are taking up something but it is very difficult, you will get anxiety and you will quit. You will procrastinate. You will get anxiety. When we say, why do we procrastinate? One of the main reasons why we procrastinate is out of anxiety, out of fear. Because brain does not want to stay nervous under stress all the times. That is very, very taxing for your body. Brain wants you to feel relieved. It does not want you to remain under stress for long periods of time. Why? Because that is totally against your sustenance, your life, survival. That is against survival. So brain wants you to stay relaxed. So whenever anything is very difficult that you are trying to take up, you will quit. You will not try to, you will procrastinate it, you will delay it. Let's say you have not studied throughout the entire year. You were not revising, you were not studying, and now the exams are there and there are 17 chapters that you have to master. Let's say 17, 15 chapters are there. Now when you will open the book, you will be like, man, this is 15 chapters. I'll not be able to do it. You don't do it. That is, you are low on competence. If today I put you to play with Cristiano Ronaldo, you will quit football. You will be like, I'll never be this good at it. Because what you don't understand is he may have been playing it for 30 years, more than 30 years. That banda may have been playing football for 30 years and you are playing with the best in the world. You will quit. You will become anxious. You will become nervous. You will not take up that task. And when I tell you to go and run with, if I say I'll put up you in a match and you will have to compete with nursery students in running, will you be motivated? No, you will not be motivated. Why? It's too easy of a task. Whenever any task is very easy, we are not motivated. Whenever any task is very difficult, we lose our motivation. We remain motivated only when the task is only slightly difficult that we are able to achieve it. Only then we remain motivated. Making sense? Is it making sense? Competence is clear. It means if you are sitting in ninth class, however, if you do not understand the basics of science, you will not feel motivated to continue to study science. You will open maths book and everything is so difficult. Why? Because maths did not make sense to you in class 6th, in class 7th, in class 8th. Now you are in class 9th. Now maths is even more difficult. Why? Because you are not studying. So now maths will not make you any sense. So you will get demotivated and you will not want to study maths. For you to sustain motivation, you will have to have certain level of understanding to take up any task. Otherwise, we lose motivation. We'll discuss it later, how to set goals, how to break those goals into small goals so that we can remain motivated at any task, that we will discuss after it. Second point is clear to everyone? Competence. The third point is relatedness. Relatedness. These are the three factors. If you fulfill these three factors, you will have internal motivation. Relatedness means what? Relatedness means you are sitting in the school, you're coming to school, you know I want to be a IPS officer, I want to be a police officer, let's say. If you know I want to be a police officer and then you are coming to school, you will give special attention to what is being taught to you. Why? Because till class 10th, science is important, maths is important, and social studies are important after class 10th onwards as well. So you will know why you are coming to school. That is relatedness. If you don't know why you are coming to school, you will be sitting in the class and the teacher will be teaching, but you will not be listening. Right now, some of you may be sitting here, but you may not be listening. Your mind may be wandering in Instagram, your mind may be wandering in Snapchat, your mind may be wandering at what is going at home. This is called pseudo listening, pretending to listen. Okay, I'm sitting here because if I'll do something, he will scold me because he's a strict teacher. So I'm sitting here cautiously. I'm sitting here in a certain way. But inside, I'm not present. It's like I'm gone somewhere. That is pseudo listening. And we do it when we do not relate with what we are doing. Making sense? Making sense? ਹੁਣ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ because you don't know why you are going to school. You are sitting in the classes and despite sitting in the classes you are wasting your time entire day. ਤੇ ਘਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ you are thinking ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਕੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਆਪਾਂ This is what you need to ask yourself when you are going traveling back from school to home. What have I learned? What have I learned throughout the day? What did I learn in maths? What did I learn in science? What did I learn in SST? And are you able to recall it? If recall it, yes, then learning has happened. If no, then you have not learned anything. ਆਪਦੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਵਕੂਫ ਬਣਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ and one day this will result into misery. ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਸਮਾਨ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਇੰਨਾ baggage we will be dragging in life ਕਿ ਕਾਮਯਾਬੀ ਛੱਡੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲਾਈਫ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਔਖਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ you will have to be a laborer. Being a laborer due to the situations of life, not a bad thing. Being a laborer because of lack of knowledge, that is a disaster. So you are a disaster in making if you don't understand why you are coming to school. Making sense? Making sense, everyone? So three things which gives us internal motivation. First is autonomy. Autonomy means I am doing it because I want to do it. No one is forcing me to do it. Teachers are not forcing me to learn. Parents are not forcing me to learn. I am learning because I know learning is equal to growth. Learning is equal to success. Without learning, no success. There are researches into it. The more number of hours you put into self-study is more money you make in life. The less number of hours you put in self-study is less money you make in life. There are researches to prove it. And the point number 2 is competency. Competency means what? We need to be competent enough to sustain motivation. Our learning should be like a game. Have you noticed it with the games? With every passing round, game gets slightly difficult. Not very difficult, otherwise we stop playing that game. This is how games hook you onto them. When you are playing a game, you have cleared round one, you feel good. Why? Because goal has been achieved. And whenever the goal is achieved, our brain releases endorphins. Our brain releases dopamine. Whenever any desire that you have, when it is met, your brain releases certain hormones. It releases serotonin. These are certain hormones which are released by the brain, and you feel accomplished. You feel motivated, and you want to do it again. You want to do it again. You want to do it again, again. And in no time, you see, you become Messi. In no time, you see, you become Cristiano Ronaldo. Is it making sense? So it's a process of growth. It's a process of growth. So I hope these three factors are clear. Yes, everyone? All right, Ji. So now moving on to the next important topic, listening, which is the most taught skill in the school. When we talk about the communication skills, there are four communication skills. One is reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Which is the most taught skill in the schools? Listening. Who teaches you how to listen? Have you ever been taught how to listen? Reading? Reading or writing? Writing. Writing is the most taught skill in the school. Since class nursery, you have been learning to write. And the least used skill in life is writing. We use only 9% of writing. And the second most taught skill in the school is what? Reading. And reading is what we use second least. That is only 16% of your daily conversations once you become a professional are around reading. And the third most taught skill in the school is what? Speaking. Speaking is only 30%. The most important skill that you need to have is listening. 45% of your life's survival is based on listening. And now you just notice when I was giving you, sharing those sentences with you, you thought that you are very good listeners. But just one of you could get only 4 out of 5 right. That means we are not very good listeners. We think we are good listeners because our entire life we had been listening. But there are three main mistakes that you make during listening. The first I shared with you, pseudo listening. When you are sitting here, but you are not here. Pseudo listening. Second is selective listening. Selective listening means what? When you are talking to someone, but your thoughts are engaged somewhere. Have you ever noticed it, like when you are sitting with your friends, sometimes your friend is sharing something with you, but you don't find it interesting, so you just keep nodding your head. Have you noticed it? But only the things that he will say that you like is what you respond to. That is selective listening. We do it in the classes also, with the teachers also. So the efficiency of students, the listening efficiency of students is only 25%. That means out of 100 sentences which are spoken by the teacher to you, your actual attention is only on 25 sentences. Now just see how much loss we are at. Making sense? So how do we improve our listening? Note taking. Because when you are taking notes, your brain forces you to listen. And second, what should be our body posture? Like some of you are sitting like this, leaning back. What should be the body posture? Leaning back body posture means what? Like when we sit like this. What does it mean? It means whenever the brain will find something interesting, brain would want to grasp it, but the body is saying, nahi rehne de. There's no need to pay attention. When we are sitting like this, our body is giving the signals to our brain, pay attention, something interesting is going on. So when you are sitting in the classes, if you think some chapter is difficult, if you think something is not making sense, what should you do? You should raise your hand. You should ask questions. Because when you ask questions, the teacher comes to know this word they are not familiar with. So let me explain this word. Because otherwise teacher will be making assumptions. कि what I am teaching they are understanding. This is called illusion of knowledge. When teachers are teaching you, they are teaching you assuming that you are understanding everything. Like till now, whatever we have discussed, I have assumed internally that you have understood everything. If you do not understand any word, you have to raise your hand and you have to ask, Sir, what does it mean? When you will do it, I'll come to know this is where they stand. This is what they don't understand. I'll explain it. And if you keep asking me questions over a period of time, you will condition your teacher to teach you in a certain way that you are able to understand. If you will not ask questions, let's say a teacher uses any word and that word does not make sense to you, you go blank. Your mind will get stuck there. That is selective listening. Because the teacher is saying something, one word teacher shared that does not make sense to you. Now you internally have started to struggle here. What does this word mean? What is the meaning of this word? You are stuck there. But teacher is continuing to teach. And by the time you will reconnect with the teacher would have taught so much, you will not be able to make sense of what the teacher was saying. So what is the right thing to do? Raise your hand, ask question. Making sense? Anytime teacher says anything that does not make sense to you, raise hand and ask question. If you will do it enough times, the teacher will understand how to teach your class. Because same teacher is going in 9th A also. Same teacher is going in 9th E also. And maybe in 9th E, we may have students who are weak with studies. The teacher is assuming the way I delivered the lecture there, I'll deliver the lecture here. Because here students are not daring to raise their hand and ask me the questions. I will assume that I have taught you everything. And now what will happen? When your marks will not come, I will think, why should I put more efforts into them? They are not learning anything. I taught them the best way I knew. I taught the same way to 9th A also. They got marks. So I should teach them well because they are good students. So teachers, they start to label the classes then. Okay, that class is not a very serious class. There is no need to put extra efforts into that class. They will not do it. Problem was where? Problem was with your backlog. And the second problem was with your fear. ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਡਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਰੋਕਦਾ to ask questions from your teachers, ਇਹੀ ਡਰ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਰੋਕਣਾ, growth ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਦੇਣੀ. When you would want to start a business, you will have the fear people will laugh at me. The same fear. So until unless you don't face it, you will never be able to grow in life. So the moment you don't understand anything, raise your hand, ask question. I hope you are connecting with what active listening is. हमें लग रही है what active listening is? So along with active listening, we need to take notes. And how do we take notes? We write words. How many words do we write? 3 to 4 words per minute. Because the teacher will be speaking every minute 150 to 180 words. The speed of speaking is 180 words per minute if the teacher speaks fast. Otherwise, it's 150. We cannot write 150 words. The maximum speed at which you can write is 23 to 24 words per minute. But we are choosing it deliberately to write only 3 to 4 words. Only those words. Later, when we'll go back home, we'll write sentences around those words, and this will become my notes. And then these notes I'll read, then I'll open the book. Then I'll read the same topic from the book. The entire topic will become easy. If I'll not read from the book side by side every single day, by the end of the year when the exams will come, when I will open the book, because I've never seen the book, everything will appear so new. Lack of familiarity will make it appear difficult. क्योंकि मैं सारा साल book देखी नहीं, मैं बार-बार book नहीं देखी. I was not doing the revisions again and again. So now when I'm seeing the book, because I'm not familiar with the pages of the book, entire book is appearing very very difficult. ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਔਖਾ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. There is nothing difficult in this life. There is no difficult topic in your book. They are difficult because you are not familiar with those topics. Making sense? Making sense now? Like when the science teacher teaches you some chapter that had connections with, let's say, class 6th chapter. It could be photosynthesis. It could be plants. It could be the digestive system. We have been reading it from past classes also. When the teacher teaches that chapter appears easy to us. And whenever the teachers take up any chapter that we have never read earlier in life, we think that chapter is difficult. Have you ever noticed it? Why does it happen? Lack of familiarity. Appa familiar nahi hage. And how do we get familiar? We pay attention to what the teacher is saying. We take notes. We go back home, we read it, we open the book, we read the book again. That is how we get familiar with those notes. Making sense? Making sense, everyone? So the second important quality that we need to have, first is active listening, second is note taking. Now there are different ways to take notes. Just see this class also. Like the way you kids are sitting, just pay attention to this class. You'll see the same flaw here. All of them, they are listening to the teacher, but none of them is having a notebook in front of them open. See, few students are writing. If you see, these students are writing. And if you go and see the result, they will be the toppers in the class. All of them are listening to the same teacher, sitting in the same class, because they are taking notes. When they'll go back home, when they'll read their notes, when they'll refer their notes with the book and read from the book, they will get better marks and they will be more learned. कार सारे जने वही कम रहे हैं, their efficiency will be more. Making sense? Making sense? Never make this mistake. Always keep taking notes. Now, different ways of taking notes. This is what I've shared with you. Number one, notes build, develop familiarity. Second point was, whenever any word is difficult, always write that word down. Any doubt that you have, always write down that doubt. So that when the teacher stops, you can raise your hand and you can ask a question. Sometimes some teachers, they get offended when you ask the question when they're teaching. So let that teacher complete the teaching. Every difficult word that the teacher says, write it down. And then ask those words by raising hand. Ma'am, you mentioned this word, what does it mean? Ma'am, you mentioned this word, what does it mean? Ma'am, can you please help me with this word? And the teacher will break down those words to you. Making sense? So next is go on diet. Go on diet basically means every minute write 1 or 2 words only. Maximum 3 words, maximum 4 words, not more than that. Do not write more than 4 words in a minute. So these are the basic approaches that students across the world follow. One of the approach is called the lazy man's approach, where when the teacher is teaching, you write the explanation on the book itself. Let's say SST topic is being taught. Open the book in front of you and write on the book itself short notes. Making sense? That is lazy man's approach. And then there are other approaches. One is outline method. Outline method is when students write in the form of bullet points, like writing the main heading, then writing the subtopic, then writing the point after it. That is the outline method. The problem with the outline method is what? We are not able to fill the skeleton later, because now though you will be writing 1 or 2 words. When you will go back home, if you will not complete the sentences around these words, if you will not build the entire sentences, the problem will be after, let's say, a week, when you will try to read the words again, words will not make sense to you. Yes or no? Let's say even if you are taking notes here, when you go back home, if you don't revise, if you don't reframe sentences, if you don't make sentences around those words, what will happen then? After a week, after 10 days, when you will open the words will not make sense to you. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Why? Because you have forgotten by that time. You don't remember anything. So every single day when you go back home, you have to actually extend those sentences. So you don't have to extend those sentences if you are taking notes on the book itself. फिर the notes ਨੂੰ extend ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ नहीं. Why? Because book explains everything. On the book only we are writing. The other is outline method. Generally, people who use laptops to study, they use this method because in laptop we can always insert. And the other method is mind mapping. Mind mapping is also good, but as a student, you don't know how much information you will need when, where. So mind map is not good for you kids. This cornell note taking we have. So the best thing that will work for you kids is lazy man's approach. So when your teacher is teaching, so let's break it down how the learning should be done. When the teacher comes in the class, you should know which chapter teacher will take up today. Do not go in the class unprepared. Certain chapter is always going on in the class, and we always know this topic will be taken up tomorrow. Till here the teacher has completed the chapter. Before the teacher comes, the 5 minutes that you have before the class, read what is given in the book, or sit at home, take 10-15 good minutes to read what is there in the book. It will not make sense. Whether it makes sense or not does not matter. Just go through it. And all the words that are very difficult, underline them. Now go in the class. Now when the teacher will come and teach, when the teacher has taught you, you have underlined some words which are difficult. Around those words, write the simple meanings of what the teacher is explaining. That is the method that works the best. That is lazy man's approach. On the book, you have underlined what you don't understand. If you feel teacher ignored some of the points which were given in the chapter, which were given in that paragraph that you had underlined, not clear to you, raise your hand and ask those questions to the teacher. And teacher will assist you. Then when the teacher leaves, again read it once. First reading. Just reading it once after the class and just reading it once before the class, you will forget it very late over time, because it is not sensory memory anymore. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੱਢਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, then it's not the sensory memory. Then the memory gets shifted to hippocampus. Senses ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ. Senses means eyes. What is happening right now, it's right in your eyes, so you can remember it. But when it will not be there in front of your eyes, you will not remember it. That is sensory memory, when senses are engaged. But if you revise twice, the entire memory from senses is shifted to what? It's shifted to hippocampus, part of the brain that acts almost in the center of the brain, hippocampus. It gets transferred there. So now if you revise again 1-2 times, like 3 times, 4 times, hippocampus will think, the brain will think, yeah, this is very, very important for my survival. It will transfer everything to this part of the brain. And this part of the brain is what? Prefrontal cortex, permanent memory. एक बार इत्थे कुछ चल गया, after that you have to revise it only once in a month. And if you do it till your exams, then you won't struggle during the exams. And when you will move on to next class, you will remember everything from 9th class. Making sense? So that means reading before the teacher, before the class, reading after the class. And this reading does not mean half an hour, 1 hour, 5 minutes reading, 10 minutes reading. When you go back home, again read it, again give 10-15 minutes. That's it, man. 3 days later, again give 10-15 minutes. That's it. This is how easy it is. But if you will not do it, later when you will try to do it, you'll have to give hell lot of a time and it will not make sense. And you will forget it easily. करना सेम ही काम पर करना नहीं आ रहा. One has mastered how to kick. एक ने kick मारनी सीख ली. Who has become a football player. दूजा is going in the ground every single day. Kick मारनी नहीं सीखी. Will neither become a football player. सारी जिंदगी धक्के भी खाई जाऊगा. This is how the school also works. We need to learn how to do things rightly. So I hope note taking is also clear to everyone. Yes, everyone? All right. So now just pay attention on the screen. There are 3 groups. A survey was done by the researchers. There are 3 groups. In first group, the teacher taught the study content to them one time. Then they studied the same content on their own. Again, they studied the content. Again, they studied the content, and then they were tested. So they studied the same content 4 times. Then they were tested. This is group 1. Group 2, they did study. They were tested, and then again they were tested. They were tested twice. And then third group, they studied only once, and then they were tested, again tested, again tested, and again tested. Which group do you think performed the best? Group 1 is study, then test. Group 3 is study, test, and test. When this question was asked, the students who studied the same information 4-5 times, they were the most confident students. Maybe I know. Why? Because they thought they have revised it 5 times. When the test was taken, they did not get good marks. This is called illusion of knowledge. Upon ਲੱਗਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਉਂਦਾ. But when we try to reproduce it, rewrite it, take out that information, we understand we don't know anything. So first group was the least scoring group, but most confident group. And the group 3 was the best performing group. Because they were tested. What happens with testing? It's what we just discussed recently. That is what happens with testing. In testing, every test, we were trying to take out the information. Learning is not putting in the information. Learning is taking out the information. Is understood? Clear to everyone? First memory that is formed is which memory? Sensory memory. Which memory? The memory that is formed later is which memory? Short-term memory. Short-term memory stored where? Hippocampus. This is hippocampus. This part of the brain. This blue part of the brain. This is hippocampus. Short-term memory stored here. And once it becomes a long-term memory, it is stored in the prefrontal cortex and it never goes away. That means once you become intelligent, you can never become dumb. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਇੰਟੈਲੀਜੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬ੍ਰੇਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰਮਨੈਂਟ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ and you get more opportunities in life. When we say someone was lucky, how does the luck work? Luck is randomness that is out there equally for everyone. But the people who are intelligent, whenever there's an opportunity, or even if there's no opportunity, they can create opportunities out of the air. And others think they are lucky. No, they are intelligent. They can sense the opportunities around them. The people who are not intelligent, opportunity will be like holding them from the shirt and saying, man, I'm standing in front of you. But they will not understand. Why? Because they do not interpret it that way. Because they are not smart enough to take advantage of the opportunities. This is how the learning works. Making sense? So permanent memory gets installed here, and this part of the brain is called prefrontal cortex. What is it called? Prefrontal cortex. And when we talk about the revisions, how should we do the revisions? The first revision should be right after the class. And by revision, what do we mean? We go through the words. Let's say now you kids are writing the words. When you will be going back to your class, rather than talking, now you kids are in 9th class. 9th तक ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ. How many talks do you remember that you have had with your friends? These are worthless things. No friends are permanent in life. Now at your age, kids think, boys think, I have more friends, so maybe other people will be like, give me respect. No, this is not how we get respect. Respect we get from where? We get from purpose. ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੋਲੇ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਐਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. This is how you respect them. Otherwise, all the friends, they come, they go, they come, they go, they come, they go. And the people who are not permanent in your life, why are you wasting your own life for them? Why do you think talking to those people is important? They are walking the life with you, but they are not permanent. They should be your priority, but learning should be your priority as well. Because if you are a learned person, if you are an intelligent person, you will make your friends also intelligent. And this is what the research shows. Okay, if your friends are hardworking, even if you are non-performing, if you start spending time with your friends who are very hardworking, your percentage goes by 15% high. If you start spending your time with the people who are not working hard, your percentage goes down by 30%. Why does it happen? Because our friends are our world. If your 2, 3, 4 friends are studying, they are investing time into learning, you will think entire world is working hard, and you will also start to work hard. If 3, 4 of your friends, if they don't study, you will think entire world is not studying. You will also stop working hard. ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਆਪਣੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦਿਖ ਰਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. The people that surround you, if they are not working hard, you think entire world is not working hard. The world is working very, very hard. This is why your first goal here, if I ask you what is your goal in life, your goal should not be I want to make money. Be the hell with money, man. Money will be after you. Your goal should be I need to get into the best university in India. I need to get into the best university in Canada if you want to go into Canada. I need to get into the best university in the world if you want to get into the Oxford in England. That should be your goal. And that will force you to work hard. And how that will help you? When you will be in the top college, in the top university, everyone around you will not be sleeping, man. They will be investing hell lot of time into learning. And when you will see people around you working so hard, what will happen then? You will work hard. Because for you, entire world is working hard. If you get into any local college, What will you see in that college? चल फलानी मूवी देखन चलिए, चल फलाने ने लड़ाई करती, चल फलाने ने आ बोलता, वी वांट रिवेंज, बदला ले लिया, आ सॉन्ग ला लिया, वो सॉन्ग ला लिया. Man, you will be stuck at low levels of consciousness. ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਹੀ ਉਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ. But once you get into the top university, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੰਦੇ when they will pass out from that university, someone will become RBI governor, someone will become the finance minister of the country, someone will become the prime minister of the country, someone will become the military general, and then you will have powerful friends. This is how you grow in life. Otherwise, what will your friends be? One is in that jail, other one is in that jail. That is what your friends will be. And where do you stand having such friends in life? Where do you stand having such friends in life? They are trouble, man. They are trouble. If you love your friends, either start working so hard that your friends start looking up to you and they change. Or do not call yourself the friends. You are not true friends. You are just companions of life who have similar interests. ਅੱਜ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚ ਰੱਖਣ ਵਾਲਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਂਗੂ ਨਾ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਵਾਲਾ, ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਲਾਨਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਸੋ ਨਾਟ ਸਟੱਡਿੰਗ, ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਦੋਸਤ ਆ. ਯੂ ਆਰ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਯੂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਸ. You are not true friends. True friends uplift each other. True friends don't pull each other down. If someone is pulling you down, how many of your friends they call you to tell you that today I have studied 10 hours a day, today I have studied 8 hours a day, chal tu bhi pad. How many of you have received such phone calls from your friends? What do you receive your phone calls from your friends for? Yaar main ta ਕੀਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਚਲ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਣਾ. See where you stand. You are having friends because they are having your same interests. They are not your friends, man. You are looking yourself in others. ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੱਭਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ. Why? Because they make you feel secure. ਉਹ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ, ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ, I feel secure. ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ. And then when you fail in the exam, when you go back home, what do you tell your parents? ਮੈਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਥੋੜੀ ਨਾ ਫੇਲ ਹੋਇਆ, 10 ਬੰਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਫੇਲ ਹੋਏ. Just try to understand the psyche. We cannot fool the universe. ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ. ਚੰਗੇ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਮਾੜੇ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਗੇਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ. ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. You don't get anything else. Making sense? So now the extending the same question, why we procrastinate. First reason was lack of motivation. Because we are not motivated enough, so we procrastinate. The second point is we procrastinate because of, what does it say? Lack of clear goals, lack of deadlines. Now I want to lose weight. I want you people to set a goal for me. Let's say you want to lose weight. What will be your goal? Set a goal for yourself, write a goal for yourself on the papers. Let's see how you set your goals. Deadline means when, let's say, your teacher says that the work needs to be completed by Friday, and let's say today is Monday, so you will think, chalo, it is Friday, I'll start completing on Thursday, right? If there is no deadline, if the teacher says make a practical file, but teacher does not say make a practical file by this particular date, we never make practical file till the teacher starts to shout, why haven't you submitted your practical file? That is when we start to work on the practical files. That is called not having the deadlines. Why? Because we don't have the goals. Making sense? All right. So now set a goal for yourself. Let's say you have to lose weight. Set a goal for yourself. Now read out the statements to me. How does your statements look like? Have you set a goal? How does your statement read out? Speak out, one of you. Randomly. Hanji beta. We can make a diet plan. Okay, we can make a diet plan and we can follow it strictly. Okay, fine. Diet plan. Let's say, sit beta. Let's say if I say, I want to reduce my weight. Let's say, if my goal is I want to reduce my weight, will I reduce my weight? Because there is something wrong with my goal. My goal does not have a deadline. Yes or no? I'm not saying I'll reduce my weight by this date. I'm not saying that. So my goal is not a smart goal. So this is how we set goals. Just pay attention on this slide. Smart goals means S, write it on your notebooks. SMART, capital S. On the second line, write capital M. On the third line, write capital A. On the fourth line, write capital R. Fifth line, write capital T. SMART. Now let's say SMART, SMART goals. So write it vertically in capital letters, because S means specific. Specific means what? If I say I want to cut 5 kilos of weight by the end of this month, and I will be doing 3 days training every week, 3 days cardio every week, and I'll be eating this every day, and this amount of calories I'll be taking every single day. This is a SMART goal. Now see, I have said I'll cut down 5 kgs of weight by the end of this month. 5 kg weight goal has been set na, 5 kg. Yes, end of this month is what? 30 days. In 30 days I have to lose 5 kg. And I am saying I will be doing 3 days cardio a week, and I'll be eating right, and I'll be weightlifting 3 days a week. So I have the entire plan ready. And then I say every single day I'll cut down my weight by 200 grams. On 1 month, if I say, if I do not break the larger goal into smaller goals, my goal is I will lose 5 kgs of weight by the end of this month. Now what will happen if I set this goal? What will happen now? Let's say I went back to my office, and let's say some maid brought tea and samosa. I'll be like, chal, now I will eat. From tomorrow onwards, I will not eat. Yes or no? Because there are 30 days to cut 5 kgs of weight. 30 days ਤਾਂ ਹਲੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਦੂਰ ਪਏ ਆ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਗੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਗੋਲ ਤਾਂ 1 month ਦਾ। So 1 month when it will be over, you will see I'll not be able to cut down my weight. Making sense? But if I say 30 kg, 5 kg divide by 30, 200 grams. Every single day I have to cut 200 grams. Now every single day when I'll go and stand on the weighing scale, if I'm 200 grams less, I will be like, wonderful, I'll get motivation. Endorphins will be released. Serotonin will be released. Dopamine will be released. I'll feel good. And I'll want to do it again. I'll do it tomorrow also. Again 200 grams. Again, I am running after 200 grams. I am not running after something that is very big, 5 kg. So I'm running after 200 grams. By cutting 200 grams, in no time, I'll be able to cut 5 kg weight. Yes or no? Yes or no? Every day I'm conquering my goal. Every day I'm seeing the result. Every day I'm getting motivated, and I'm continuing it again and again and again. And by no time, I'll be enjoying the entire process, and I would have cut down 5 kgs of weight. Now, if I say I want to get 95% marks, will I be able to get 95% marks? Because my goal is not SMART. SMART means it should be specific. Making sense? It should be specific. M means it should be measurable. Measurable means something that can be measured every single day. Am I able to get it or not? Today, was I able to achieve today's goal or not? Was I able to achieve tomorrow's goal or not? Was I able to achieve day after tomorrow's goal or not? Every day I can measure it. A means action oriented. What will I do to achieve it? That should be written. Like I told you kids, I'll be doing cardio every single day, 3 days a week. I'll be doing weight training 3 days a week, and I'll be eating right. And this is what I'll be eating. That is action. Without action, goal will not be achieved. R means what? Realistic. Realistic means what? Something that can be achieved. ये नहीं कि बैठ के इत्थे बैठ के क्या कि हाँ जी, I also want to study, I feel motivated, and I'll get 98% marks in tomorrow's paper. That is not achievable if I'm someone who was getting 70% marks till now. In one day, with 1 day's motivation, it is not possible for me to get 98% marks. What I can do is, I can see, let's say 5 chapters are pending, 7 chapters are pending for tomorrow's paper or for Monday's paper. Now what I'll do, 5 chapters, I've got 3 days. Let me be very realistic. Which are the topics from this book which are important for class 10th also, because 9th class is almost about to get over. So let me go to my teacher. Let me ask my teacher, ma'am, these 5 chapters I'm not prepared. Can you please tell me which out of these 5 chapters, which are the most important topics, which are most important concepts? Take those concepts. Now I'll prepare only those concepts. This is called preparing smartly. If I'll start doing everything, let's say next year you kids will be in 10th class. In 10th class, CBSE sets the weightage, marks weightage for every chapter. Let's say I am someone who does not have a plan and I want to learn. I'm going back home, I'm studying, I'm spending almost 10-15 days to learn one chapter. But the total weightage of that chapter is only 2 marks in the final paper. तो मैं 10 दिन लाके कितने मार्क्स इकट्ठे कीते 2 नंबर इकट्ठे कीते that same 10 days I should have given to the chapters which have more weightage. Some chapter was having the weightage of let's say 10 marks. I'll put that chapter on priority कि पहला मैं वो chapter करना which whose weightage is 10 marks, because that is I'm putting efforts also and my efforts have more results. It is higher efficiency, higher in efficiency. Making sense? Making sense now? Yes. So this is action oriented, this is realistic, and T is time bound. Time bound means what? Time fix karna कि by which date I will do what. This is called smart goals. Making sense? Now someone who knows how to set smart goals. Let's say I say I want to get 98% marks in board class, 12th class. And to get 98% marks, I know the reality is my maths is not very strong. And I'll not be able to get more than 19 maths. That means I should not be putting so much time into maths that I'm not giving time to English. Because in English, I will have to get at least 100 to compensate for less marks in maths. Making sense? What do we do generally? When we don't have a plan, what do? We ignore the easy subjects because we think they are easy. They are not important because I know English. And generally students lose their marks in the subjects that they think are easy, that they treat as easy. So they don't give enough time to physical education. They don't give enough time to Punjabi. They don't give enough time to IP. And their marks they get in, let's say, 97, 96, 95, 94, then those students will never be able to get 98% marks. Why? Because their maths, they will not be anyhow, no matter how much efforts they put. Being very realistic, they will never be able to get more than 90. So now I have to outweigh the entire, I have to do all the calculations कि 98% marks चाहिए ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀਆਂ priorities ਕੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ time ਕਿਹੜੇ ਦਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ subject ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣਾ. Making sense everyone? Yes? And why do I want you kids to get 98%, 99% marks? Why marks are important? Marks are not important for the marks itself. Marks are important because what you become in the process of getting those marks. Making sense? 98% marks ही नहीं मैटर करते कि 98% आगे पता नहीं कि तीर मारता और 98% लेंदे लेंदे ਆਪਾਂ जो बन जाने हैं that is what matters क्योंकि वो बंदा is a real तीर वो बंदा will go in any direction because that बंदा knows any task that is at hand how to conquer that task ਉਹਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਿੱਖ ਲਈ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਸਿਰੇ ਚੜਾਉਣਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹੈ that is what he has learned what he has mastered and he will be 98% attitude in every field of life because he has learned how to do things right. Making sense? Have you understood what smart goals are? Yes. Have you written SMART? Yes. All right. I'll be coming into your classes and we'll be discussing. I'll be giving you tasks to set a smart goal for yourself. And we will be discussing that in all these topics that we are discussing here. I'll be coming into your class and we'll be reviewing them and we'll be discussing these topics in detail. Smart goals, I hope the concept is clear. Yes, everyone? Yes. All right. How many of you have timed yourself? How many of you know where your 24 hours go? We underestimate the time that the process takes. For example, here what I'm trying to say. Let's say I go to gym every single day. I work out every single day. I train every single day. I think I am training only for 1 hour. But there is half an hour that I take commuting to my gym. Half an hour I take coming back. That makes another 1 hour, 2 hours. And then there may be 15-20 minutes I may be taking to getting ready for gym. So that means it's taking almost 2.5 hours of my time. And I'm thinking I'm spending only 1 hour at gym. Same is the problem with our tuitions. So I'll show you this, how it works with the average students. So this is the day of an average student. So what you see here, they sleep for 8 to 9 hours a day. They are in school for 6 hours a day. For you kids, it's 6 hours working hours, 6 hours a day. And they travel for almost 2 hours, 1 hour maximum in the morning, 1 hour maximum in the evening. And they may be going for tuitions also. And they may be traveling for tuitions also. They may be getting ready for tuitions also. And then they may be spending time with their family. They may be spending time with the social media. And they may be doing some household chores also, which are known as errands. So errands means household chores, like when you say, when your moms appreciate that bhai daughter has grown up, now she has started to cook in the kitchen, and you feel very good about it. And the sons, in the case the son has grown up and he's very hardworking, he goes and he drives the tractor, or he goes out in the market and he brings vegetables. Sanu koi fikr nahi hegi. My son has started taking up all the basic tasks, basic chores of the household, and we feel very good about it. But ask yourself a simple question: the work that I do, what is the worth of it? What is the worth of it? मैं सब्जियां लिया के फ्रूट लिया के खुश होया फिरदा कि मैं तो बड़ा मेहनती हाँ. I can hire someone for 10,000 rupees and they'll bring it for entire month for me. Yes or no? मैं तो चाय बना के I'm thinking, making a tea, cup of tea for when the relatives are coming, making sabjis or making vegetables when the family is appreciating me. I'm thinking मैं तो बड़ी काम वाली, मैं तो बहुत मेहनती हूँ, मैं तो बहुत काम कर दी. But what is the value of that task? If you have to hire someone to do those things for you, how much will you pay them? So that means we need to learn to say no. Okay, Mama, this is my priority right now. Let me do this work, then I'll help you with your work. This does not mean padna we need to say no. This means when you are doing something, always ask yourself, what is high, more yielding work? Which work yields me more in the future? वो काम मैं पहला करना. Which work yields me less? वो काम मैं बाद च करना. This is what it means. Set your priorities right. Have you understood how to set the priorities right? Now see, in this case, this student entire day, how much hours is he taking? 23 hours. And how much time does he have for self-study? Only 1 hour. And this child thinks, I am learning. मैं स्कूल भी जा रहे हैं, मैं ट्यूशन भी जा रहे हैं, I'm learning. भाई लर्निंग तो वही होनी है ना जेडी बैठ के आप याद कीता, आप बैठ के पढ़े. That is learning. Listening is not learning. Listening will anyhow be forgotten. How is that learning? Now this child has only 1 hour. And see this day of a performing student, days of the toppers. Sleep 7 hours. They'll do all those things. School 6 hours. Travel time 1 to 2 hours, same 2 hours. Tuitions, they don't go for tuitions. They don't go for tuitions. Why? Because they have apps like Swayam. How many of you are using it, Swayam? Swayam app. Which tuitions do you basically go for? Maths and science, no? Yes? Have you seen Khan Academy? On Khan Academy, chapter by chapter, every chapter of your NCERT book is explained in Hindi also, in English also. Entire chapter is there. So now just imagine, just by not going for tuitions, you are saving half an hour commute, 1-2 hours sitting there, half an hour coming back, half an hour getting ready for it. You are saving 2.5 hours. And out of this 2.5 hours, if you are spending 2 hours at tuitions, it makes almost 3.5 hours. You can study, you can learn at your own pace by watching the videos. At your own pace. Any chapter that you are preparing, open that chapter's video, watch that video, prepare it. You're done. All the science videos, chapter by chapter, are there on Khan Academy. And the second app is the Swayam app. Note down this name, Swayam. This is government approved app. Right now internet is not working. Go back home, download this app. All your classes are compiled into 6-week courses. And all the videos, recorded lectures by the best professors of the country. Government approved app. All are free of cost. You can just go online, you can register for a course, 6-week course of 10th class, and you can do that subject. This is how easy it is. When you have these free platforms where you can sit and learn at your own wish. And what are we doing? We are giving the money to the school for the same stuff. We are going back home, we are giving the same money for the same task, maybe double the money, to the tuition teacher. And we are not learning anything, we are only listening. Listening is not equal to learning. And then we are crying, I am to studying but still marks are not coming, because you are not learning it rightly, you are not doing the things rightly. Marks will never come. Making sense, everyone? Making sense, everyone? Just imagine. Now see, let's see this day of a performing student. Let's see. Family hours, family time, they spend 1 hour. Entertainment, they give not more than 30 minutes. Errands, they don't give more than 30 minutes. How much time does it make? They are doing all the things which other average students were doing. It makes only 15 hours. How much time do they have? 9 hours they have with them. 9 hours. On 9 hours ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 5 hours ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹੋ every single day. That makes you the best of the best. That makes you the best of the best in the country. And this is what your duty has to be. Making sense? Making sense? Strive for this kind of hard work. What you get from Instagram, I get the same feeling, same kick from the books. Why? Because it's same. It's release of dopamine. You have addicted yourself to release dopamine by watching the reels. I learn more and more new things from the books, and it kicks my dopamine. This is how it goes. Now imagine someone who is standing in front of you, what this man will be after 10 years. Jordan Peterson, have you heard the name of this man, this professor? 1 month he makes $1 million. Just one book he wrote, and he wrote few books, 2-3 books. Those books are earning him royalty. And he's sitting and he's making money. Man, that is real wealth. And that comes only from learning. The best minds that you see around you, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਚਲਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ, they are strong from here. They are not strong from here. They are not born to the parents who had 100 acres of land. They were not born to those people who were rich. They were the ones who invested here. And see where they have reached. ਹੁਣ ਜਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਨੱਚਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਡੋਪਾਮਾਈਨ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਕਰਵਾਈਏ, ਜਾਂ when you work hard, when you achieve your goal, same dopamine releases. So you set every single day daily tasks कि ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਮੈਥਸ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ, ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਸਾਇੰਸ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਹੈ, ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਹੈ. when you will be achieving it, 40 minutes ਮੈਥਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ, the feeling that you will get internally, it will be equal to the feeling that you will get when you watch Instagram. There later regret comes. ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਪਛਤਾਵਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. Why? It's hollowness inside. ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਕੁਛ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ. What am I getting? I cannot watch all the reels all the times. The time that I'm wasting, ਮੈਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਾਕੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. It brings regret. And the other, it brings pride. It brings self-esteem. It brings confidence. Now you choose what you want in life. Life has everything to offer. Your choice. What you choose is what you get. Are you comparing where the time goes? Very, very important. So this is called time yourself, mapping your time. And now see the data. Golden rule of learning says what? For every 1 hour that your teacher spends with you, you need to learn that stuff for at least 2 hours yourself. मतलब 1 ਘੰਟਾ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਨੇ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਪੜਾਇਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ 2 ਘੰਟੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੈਲਫ ਸਟੱਡੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. And see how easy it is, man. The teacher, when they are teaching to you in the class, just pay attention to what she is saying, what he is saying. Go back home, revise it. Believe in the process, and one day you will be successful. See how easy it is. Bed ਤੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਲੱਤਾਂ ਘੁਮਾ ਕੇ ਏਸੀ ਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਹੀਟਰ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ. ਕੋਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀ. We are not worried about our food. We are not worried about our clothes. Everything is being arranged for you by nature. God wants you to grow. Nature wants you to grow. You would not have been sitting here if universe did not wanted you to grow. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੁਣ ਬੈਠੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੋਣਾ. ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ everything needs to be right for you to be sitting here. We don't choose that. We don't choose to which family we were born. ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਡਿਸਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੋਰਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਯੂ ਆਰ ਬੋਰਨ ਇਨ ਅ ਸਰਟਨ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ, ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਯੂ ਆਰ ਗੈਟਿੰਗ ਦਿਸ ਲੈਕਚਰ, and you are sitting in this school in this moment, this is the reason you're getting familiar with these words. Now you have to choose. You want to listen, you want to change your life, or you want to be the same you. If you remain the same you, misery is coming for you, man. I have lived the years that you kids are living. ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲੇ, ਸਾਰੇ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਨਿਕਲ ਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਉਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਬਟ ਪੈਰੈਂਟਸ ਆਰ ਟਰਾਈਂਗ ਟੂ ਸੇ ਦੀ ਸੇਮ ਥਿੰਗ ਵੈਨ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਸਕੋਲਡਿੰਗ ਕਿ the way you are living your life, man, it's going to misery, ਬਰਬਾਦੀ ਵੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਰਹਾ। ਹੁਣ ਸਰਦਾਰੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਬਰਬਾਦੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਇਟਸ ਆਲ ਇਨ ਯੋਰ ਹੈਂਡਸ। Either you get involved into all this relationship stuff, you get involved into all this pornography material that is all there on the internet. Most of you would have got addicted to those things. या तो वो काम करो बर्बाद हो जाओ, या you live your life at your conditions. Be a responsible person, जिम्मेवारी चको, and do the things the way they should be done. And you will have reward in life after a certain age. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ, all the dreams that you kids are having, ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, when the people are of your age, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ are very big. Today when you will be going back from your school to home, ਜਾਂਦੇ ਵੇ ਰਾਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਿਓ how many people have been able to achieve their dreams in life. The research says only 0.1% people are able to achieve their dreams. ਤੇ 0.1% ਬੰਦੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ? ਜਿਹੜੇ dare to stand up and work hard. ਇਹ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡੇਅਰ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ I'll do it, I am doing it, no matter what the cost, I'll do it, I'll make sure it is done. ਇਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਰ ਲਾਈਕ what are you doing, what are you doing, ਮੇਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੰਘਦਾ, ਚੱਲ ਇੰਸਟਾਗ੍ਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਸਕਰੋਲ, man, this is leading to what? This is leading to total misery, total barbadi. We need to understand, we need to take charge of our lives. So golden rule of learning is, for every 1 hour that you get taught in the school, you need to put at least how many hours into self study? 2 hours. ਇੱਕੋ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ 2 ਵਾਰ ਪੈਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਈਦੇ। ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਕੇ for the same things to the teachers, same teachers that we have, they are masters, MSc chemistry, MSc physics, same people. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੰਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਿਹੜਾ one ਬੰਦਾ teaches you maths also, teaches you science also, teaches you maybe other subjects also, same ਬੰਦਾ। One person cannot be master of multiple subjects. It's like going to a doctor, getting recommendations from a doctor, पर्ची कटवा ली, पैसे ले ले, वापस आगे कर, घरे आके लग गया यार maybe this will not cure me, मुंह चक के दूजे डॉक्टर कोल चल गए, वो तो भी प्रिस्क्रिप्शन ले ली, 2 पर्चियां लेके इलाज नहीं होना। You have to take up the responsibility, बैठ के आप ही बढ़ना पैना। Now next thing that you need to map is what is the best time of your day. Very, very important. Like what is the best time of your day? How this will help you? Just ask yourself this question. Am I a morning person, or am I a evening person? Am I a night person? Am I an afternoon person? Which is the time of the day when I'm the most productive? Ask yourself this question. How many of you are evening people? How many of you are night people? How many of you are morning people? Right. Now we don't decide if we are morning person or if we are evening person. People will tell you, okay, wake up in the morning and study. People will tell you sleep late at night. Ask yourself, which is the best time of the day when I'm the most productive? If you are a morning person, in the morning wake up and study. If you are a night person, study at night. Because we have evolved as humanity. We are tribal people. We used to live in tribes. ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚੀ humanity, ਆਪਾਂ tribes 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ। And when we were surviving in tribes, when all the people could not sleep together, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ tribe will attack and kill everyone. So genes ਏਦਾਂ evolve ਹੋ ਗਏ humans ਦੇ over time. Some people, they are born evening people. Some people, they are born morning people. So whatever the best time of your day is, block that time for learning. This is called time blocking. Block that time. For example, I am a late night person. So my time daily for learning is every single day. I make sure by 8:30, maximum by 9, I am in my room. From 9 till 1 till 2, I learn, I study. This is what I do. This is the most productive time that I have. For you, whatever the most productive time is, learn in that time. Let's say I have to watch a movie. What will be the time when I'll be watching the movie? No, not at night. During the day. That is when I'm least productive. Let's say there's a day off. I'm having a free day. I want to watch movie. Now, this does not mean I don't watch movies. This does not mean I don't watch Netflix. I do watch movies and I do watch Netflix. And I do spend time with my family. But what I have done is, which time will suit my interest? This time during day, anyhow, even if I take up the book, it will not be very productive. Why? I'll be sitting there, I'll not be able to focus. Why? Because I'm a late night person. I cannot focus in the early morning. So if I have to watch a movie, I'll be watching in that part of the day when this is not the most productive hours of my time. Making sense? Is it making sense? Is time blocking clear? So note it down, time blocking. So there can be 4 blocks of time. Let's say you are a morning person. So now what you can do is wake up at, let's say you are a morning person, wake up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., study till 6, take a nap at 6, sleep till 6:30, 6:40, again wake up, again study for 1.5 hours, again take a nap, and then get ready and come to school. If I was a morning person, this is how I would have done it. Waking up early in the morning, learning, then taking a nap, then waking up, then again learning something, then again taking a nap, then getting ready and coming to school. When we take a nap, the last thing that you have to ever compromise is your sleep. Never compromise your sleep. Never ever compromise your sleep, because the body is repairing itself and the memories are being transferred to this prefrontal cortex. Permanent memories are being made when we sleep. That is when the body is repairing itself. If you will cut down your sleep, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜੋਗੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯਾਦ ਘੱਟ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ. So minimum 7-8 hours of sleep is very, very important. Do not sleep less than 7 hours. 7 hours during the exams, 8 hours during the non-exam days. This is minimum you should be sleeping. I'm a grown-up person. For me, 6.5 hours of sleep is enough. So I don't sleep more than 7 hours is maximum that I sleep. 6.5 hours is what I sleep on normal days, general days. So I hope this is also clear. Never compromise on sleeping. There was a research to prove it. The people who sleep less, the students, their performance despite their same learning falls down by 40% if they sleep less. So performance falls down. Permanent memories are not made. So I hope this is also clear. Sleeping, how much time? 7 hours during the exam days, 8 hours during the non-exam days. Do not sleep more than that. There is no reward to the body from extra sleep. If you will sleep 10 hours a day, if you will sleep 12 hours a day, there is no extra reward being given to the body. That will make your body lethargic. That will make your body lazy. Making sense? So maximum sleep time should be 8 hours. All right. This is the another technique that you need to keep in mind. So what you see on the screen is called ultradian performance rhythm. This means what? This means the maximum time you can remain focused is 90 minutes. After 90 minutes, brain starts to crash. So this means what? This means if you are someone who is not a very serious student so far, then you can start with Pomodoro Technique. Pomodoro Technique says what? Take up your book, study for 25 minutes, then give yourself a break for 5 minutes. Then again study for 25 minutes, again take a break for 5 minutes. Again study for 25 minutes, again take a break for 20 minutes. So means break down your study, because when we try to study 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day in one go, your brain will not be able to tolerate it. Because the best performing students, the maximum time they can retain focus is 90 minutes. You know what is the average focus time for the normal people? It is not even 30 seconds anymore. 30 seconds we need average attention time. This is why never watch the short videos. When we are watching the YouTube shorts, you are training your mind not to stay stable, focused for more time. So much content is being thrown to you on the Instagram. This is why they have become so popular. Release of dopamine. There's release influx of dopamine. The settings have been reset. In the YouTube settings, when you'll go, there is an option called watch history. Delete watch history. Click it. It will take you to a browser. Pause the watch history of the YouTube. On my YouTube, until and unless I don't resume it, I don't see any recommended videos. All I see is what I want to see. So in my YouTube, I don't see recommended videos. I can search what I want to search. If the recommendations are on, every time I'll open the YouTube to search something, it will throw some videos at me. It will throw more, and those videos will be my interest videos because YouTube learns from me. It wants me to remain hooked onto YouTube. So the things that I watch is what display on the recommended videos. If that remains display on the recommended videos, then what? I would want to go and click it. Making sense? That is distraction. That is distraction. If you want to use Instagram, let's say, if you want to use Snapchat, let's say, first tell yourself, I'll achieve today's goals. Let's say my today's goal is 40 minutes in maths. Then combine it with some easy subject. Take up English. English is easy because maths was very demanding. English is easy. Punjabi is easy. Hindi is easy. Take up that subject. Study that subject for 30 minutes. Then this is called a stacking of subjects. Then take up science. Take up science, 25 minutes. Once your daily goals have been achieved, then take up entertainment as a reward. Okay, this is my reward for today. I have done my today's task that I was supposed to do. Now I will watch things. So every single day when I achieve my task, then I watch Netflix and then I sleep. I'm not saying it is very healthy to watch Netflix before sleep, but I'm telling you this is how I reward myself. So these are reward things. This is entertainment ना, entertainment reward ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਹੈ. Entertainment ਸਾਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਜੌਨ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ entertainment. ਰਿਵਾਰਡ ਲਈ ਹੈ 5 ਮਿੰਟ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ 10 ਮਿੰਟ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਫਿਰ ਐਂਟਰਟੇਨਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦਿਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਇਟ making sense everyone. So not to watch the YouTube shorts, not to watch it, like do not watch it at any cost. Watch the long lectures. If you have to ever watch a lecture, watch the lectures which are like 1 hour 2 hour lectures. They will increase your attention span. Do not watch short videos. You are training your mind ਕਿ ਟਿਕ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਹਿਣਾ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਟਿਕ ਕੇ ਬਿਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਫਿਰ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਨੇ ਭੱਜਣਾ because we never train our mind to stabilize. Making sense? Are you noting down these points? All right. So we'll stop our today's lecture here only. What we are discussing, these are known as study skills. And we will have around 4-5 hours more lecture. And by that time, by the end of those 5 hours, you will be having complete mastery over how to study. In our next lecture, we'll discuss how to read a book. That we will discuss in our next lecture. So today what we have discussed is why we procrastinate. We procrastinate why? Because when it's something we are trying to deal up, it is very difficult, we procrastinate. Second is when there is fear, when there is anxiety, we procrastinate. Third is when there is no clear deadline, we procrastinate. And then what we learned is note taking, very, very important. Active listening, very, very important. And then what we discussed is how to set smart goals. Clear everyone how to set smart goals? So I know you may think it is clear. When you will sit and when you will write it down, then you will face the real hiccup. So your today's homework is write your smart goal for yourself for this 9th class main goal, main objective. What do you want to achieve by the end of this 9th class? How much percent marks do you want to achieve in the final papers? So set that smart goals for it. When I'll come into your class, most likely on Monday, I'll try to come. Then we will discuss how you have set those goals, whether you have been able to master it or not. So smart goals is clear to everyone. Golden rule of learning, 2 hours of learning every single day. Clear to everyone? Yes. And the factors which help us motivate, to remain motivated. 3 factors were there. First factor is autonomy. Second factor is competence. Third factor is relatedness. That means if I understand why I need something, and if I break that something into small parts, I can easily take it down, and every part I'll be conquering. It will motivate me. I'll keep on going ahead and ahead. So this is how we remain motivated for long. And the next that we discussed was, what did we cover else? Time blocking. We covered time blocking. And then we covered stacking of the subjects. When we study the same subject for long time, it becomes very boring. If you are trying to solve some numericals from, let's say, physics, and you are not able to solve it, the best way is leave that book, physics book, close it, start studying English. Do not struggle with the same numerical, do not keep struggling with it for 1 hour, 2 hours. Just close that book and study some other subject, and then study some other subject, then take a break. After every 1.5 hour, 25 minute, 5 minute break, again 25 minute, 5 minute break, again 25 minute, then take a long break, 20 minute, 30 minute break. Making sense? Yes, everyone. And this 25-minute break, when you will support it with a 5 minute break, after 25 minutes, let's say the first, I'm talking about the Pomodoro technique. Study 25 minutes, let's say maths, then take a 5 minute break. This 5 minute break, what we can use it, how we can take it up. Do not take up the mobile phone. If in this 5 minute break you will take up the mobile phone, what will happen is your brain will think it is the priority. This is not the priority. And when you are learning something, if you have to use your phone for, let's say, research, block the notifications of the phone. Because if the notifications are on, there will be curiosity for you to see who has texted you. There will be curiosity to see what notification on Facebook or Instagram I have received. Let me see who has commented what. So put your phone on blocking mode, or put your switch off your phone. Do not keep it with you when you are learning. Anything that you feel needs research, anything that you feel need research, write it down and then later search it. Don't keep your phone with you. Either keep it off or keep it on blocking mode. Like when I'm studying, my phone is on blocking mode. I don't receive any notification then. After that, I turn the blocking mode off and then I go to sleep. So always put your phone on blocking mode, because this is how the brain works. Once you are distracted, it may take you another 20 minutes to come to the same level of focus. So don't get distracted when you are studying. 25 minutes so baad the 5 minute break that you need to have. Then just stand up from your bed and walk for a minute. Walk for a minute and try to recall in your head mein hun ki padhe in this 25 minutes. What did I just study in this 25 minutes? And then go and have a glass of water, drink a glass of water, have a cup of tea, and then again come back into your room, close your room. Another thing that is very important, if you study on a bed, if you sleep on the same bed, that is not a healthy way to learn. Why? Because this is our mind gets adjusted. You will start to sit and study, there are tendency that you will start to fall asleep. So if you are feeling a lot sleepy when you are studying, chances are you are studying at a spot where you are sleeping. And if you are finding it very difficult to sleep, chances are you are studying at the same place. So you are lying down on the bed, but the body is giving you signals ki chal Instagram khol, chal aa dekh, chal aa dekh. Why? Because on the same spot you are sitting and you are using Instagram. So what is the healthy way to do? Associate yourself with some of the things. Like what I do, because these winters are going on, so I don't sit on table and chair, I don't study on table and chair, I study on my bed only. But I have a small table that can be folded and unfolded. So every single time I sit on my bed, I unfold the table, I get into learning mode. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ I don't feel any need or any want to watch something, to watch some YouTube video, to watch some song, play some song or watch some video. I don't feel that need. Why? Because I get into that mode. Table open for me means learning. And when I close that table off, for me, placing it on the side, that means now I can go and sleep. So the spot at where you sit, at where you read, where you study, it is very, very important. It should look like a study spot. Have some quotes around you. So like when I was preparing for civil services, what we used to do, we had the quotes on the this wings of the fan. Like every time when we used to wake up, on the top we had a fan and we had written the motivational quotes there. So we would first read those quotes and then we would wake up from our bed. So the moment you see them, this encourages you. And if you feel you have some bad habits, let's say Instagram is your bad habit, have the wallpaper on your phone that says the dangers of Instagram. So every time you lift up your phone, you will see the dangers of Instagram written on the top of it. And then you will understand, man, I don't need to use it now. I don't need to use it now. I don't need to use it now. And then always have a calendar pasted in your room. I used to do it in the initial days. Now I don't need, because I've got accustomed to this style of living. So have a calendar every day. When you are able to do 25 minutes maths, on the top of that calendar on today's block, write 25 minutes maths done. This is like you telling yourself, मैं पढ़ रहे हैं, मैं काम कर रहे हैं. This will motivate you. Initially, we need motivation from outside. And when you will write it, this will motivate you. Making sense? Making sense, everyone? And then let's say you are not able to study for one day. Does not mean you are a failure. The next day we'll take up the books again. So generally, we all suffer from what is called all or nothing thinking. Like you may have noticed, it is a problem with the human mind. You may have noticed we make a timetable, we are not able to stick to it, we make a new timetable. We are not able to stick to it, we make a new timetable. Because we think not able to stick to the timetable for 3-4 days in a row means I'm a total failure. मेरे follow नहीं होना मैं नया timetable. This is not how life works. Always note down, today I studied for 2 hours, today I studied for 3 hours, today I studied for 4 hours. This will help you keep going. Your main target should be on all the school days. Every day when you have a school, your main target should be minimum 3 hours of self-study on the regular days. When it is a non-school day, your target should be minimum 6 to 8 hours of 8 hours a day of learning. ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 25 minutes ਕਰਕੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੋ, ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ. We don't even realize. The same listening that I shared with you sentences, I got 5 out of 5 right. 5 out of 5 right. And so far in our school, wherever I've done the survey, I've done it with our staff also, with our teachers. I've done it with multiple classes. So far, only 2 children have been able to do it, have been able to get 4 sentences right. How I got 5 sentences right is, it is called willful learning. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਰਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ. So how I have made my brain resilient to learning, for learning. Every day, even when I'm working out, when I'm going to my gym, I know 30 minutes it may take me for going into my gym. Or 30 minutes भी lecture चल रहा ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ. And when I'm coming back from the gym, or 30 minutes ਫਿਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ lecture ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ. How much time have we spent here? It's almost like we started the class at 12:30, 12:40. It's 3. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ it's 3. Did you remain connected with me for most of the time of our discussion? This is the power of learning. This is the power of learning. Making sense? Yes. I hope the things that we have discussed, those are clear to you. From here onwards, we will start building other study skills. All these are known as study skills. Fine, everyone? Yes. All right. So we'll wind up our lecture here. Now you kids can go back to your class.